Next up, we have the pinch bug 0. Continue to go random gun. So this play here, I find it's best. This is a really good base defensive setup if you want to pinch defensive line, bring that blitzing cornerback in, and then typically whoever's on the running back, you can use her. Although you could also leave that guy alone and use her this guy and drop him back. And like I could drop back or drop down. If I want the pass rush to be better, I'll drop down over the gap. But if I want to shoot for run gaps, like if I expect to run, I'll drop back here so he doesn't pick me up or the linemen don't pick me up. And you can see we get a pass. Cover 0 is not a very good pass defense. That's the idea. It's supposed to be playing to prioritize not legging over the top, but they won't take a lot of risks. Otherwise, like I said, this one here, I'll try to help the pass rush, guess pass, bring him down over the gap till that check mark pops up, and hope that we get something like that. Even though we got a screen, and since we have somebody man to the running back, definitely helped out in the screenplay. Man coverage is definitely helpful against certain things like RPOs and screens. Well, I'll do that again. Like I said, I'm going to try to help the rush. There's another thing you can do to step this rush up, but I'm just going to try to get it like this. Just try to help out. This would be like the base defense look, like a base setup. If I wanted to just run this and basically just try to get the 5 guys a little help to get off the edge with with some additional blocking. But we're not really getting that. So we're going to have to kick the blitz up a notch, which is really nothing more than doing the exact same setup. This would be the blitz setup. You can pinch defensive line. You know what I mean? This guy will come down the gap if I just use this guy. This is the same thing as the 3 for odd. Bring this guy down here over the guard, and then you got to cover the running back. But it gives you an opportunity. It looked like I guessed. I don't know what happened there. It looked like I guessed run by mistake because the safety shot down the way they did. I don't know. But yeah, I mean that might have been a mistake. But like I said, if you want to help the pass rush, just you can just do it like this. You don't even have to. Pitching defensive line would be better. But if you're going to do it like this, I would say it's better since you're covering the running back to just switch it up, make White the blitzing guy, and then just come down with this guy, and just know that you have to cover the running back. You know what I mean? Like that's really all I would suggest. Is I didn't do a very good job covering that running back, which, like I said, once again, that's kind of the issue. You don't want to be man to anybody. So, like I said, if you want to kick up the rush, you can always use the running back, but then you got to be man to somebody, and that's a whole other problem. You could also just help the rush by spreading everybody, and this will do a good job too. I got to follow that running back, but you can see we get that A gap and we get the sack that time. So that might be the best way to get it because I think A gap's best. Next up, we have cover drop. This is more of a run defense, so we're just gonna go random single back. So let's play here. If your opponent's running the ball, this is your best run defense. Just make sure your safeties are playing down in the box, and you're going to want a hard flat. If you have a spare second, bring this cornerback down and bring this linebacker out as much as you can, although he's going to walk back. But this is your look. This is your run defense from the formation. I'm also, since I'm expecting run, I'm going to start back here because I won't get targeted by the lineman, and this will give me an opportunity to drop down and shoot gaps, although it's still going to be somewhat, weak outside. So if you really want to, you can just pinch the entire defense. Against a formation like this, you can pinch the entire defense because you're going to, bring the guy, the linebackers or the tight ends aren't going to burn anybody outside regardless. So we go ahead and do this one more time, and you can see how good run defense. You didn't get anything. You could also kick this up an entire notch by just showing blitz against a look like this, which is wide triangle then RB R1. And you can't, but doing this, it makes it a little bit more difficult to pinch and spread the linebackers and stuff. But if you want to pinch the defensive line, you still can. And then once again, I'll drop back here. And if we get a run, I'm just shooting that gap. But the safety's making the play in the backfield. That's the whole point. You're bringing the safeties down because the safeties will play the run first as long as you don't guess pass. And bringing them down that close to the line of scrimmage obviously helped out. He just walked right into the hole and then met him at the line or behind the line of scrimmage, as both safeties will do that. So really just a good run defense. But if you hard flat, I find that you can get a good pass defense too. It's a solid pass defense, not spectacular, because it's more of like a prevent defense. I mean, you won't give up anything over the top, but you can see how you have a lot of short throws, underneath throws. Obviously, the safeties don't come into play there. So we're going to do this one more time. So at that time, it's the show blitz setup. Looks like we have an actual pass play. And we get some pressure because Mahomes is running out of the pocket. But I wouldn't expect that too much. If you want to help the pressure too, as I keep messing this up, I want to show blitz. If you want to help the pressure, just put your guy on a blitz and then hover the line. It's just going to read as four guys now. As you can see, once again, no real run. I mean, this run defense is going to be your best, especially for inside runs. But if I show blitz, or if I blitz my user, it's going to increase the pass rush. So just keep that in mind as we try to get another play here. We got to pick. He's obviously got to throw that ball quick, but you can see I can drop back on things over the middle pretty easily as well. Next up, we have cover 3 seam. Go ahead and flip the play. So this play here, it's just a really good base defense. I find if you have a mobile quarterback, the X linebacker is really like an odd man that can do whatever you want. You can hard flat him to Mabel. You can put him on a QB spy and then push him the right stick if the quarterback leaves the pocket. You can do any number of things like that. You could also make it like a 3-4 odd look by bringing this guy down just to make sure that you have edge containment. And then if I pitch defensive line spread the linebackers, you'll see how this is pretty much going to be the look. It looks like a 3-4. If I expect pass, I can user this guy down into the gap and put him on a blitz to increase the pass rush. But if I expect a run, I just drop back and try to shoot gaps this way. As this is pretty much going to be my base defense setup. The cover 3, as you can see right there, we make the play at a yard or 2 down the field. The cover 3 is really the best coverage, in my opinion, because if this seam is threatened, this seam flat's going to match and carry it back and follow it basically wherever he goes. Same thing with the seam flat on this side. He's basically going to follow Kelsey wherever he goes. So matching principles to me is the way. But if you want to override them, say they're hitting flats, which can be vulnerable, you can play underneath, and this will cancel the matching principles. You can also hit wide triangle, play over the top, and it'll turn into a regular cover 3, which is something that you can do as well. But I don't find that's necessarily the best way to go. I would say as a base defense, a lot of times I'll hard flat. And then, like I said, if I really want to, if I want the pass rush to be good and I want to take the chance of shooting for the run, I could start back here and leave that defensive end on a pass rush, and that will keep the 4 defensive pass rush rule alive. As you can see here, we're the coverage is not nearly as good. That's the thing. When you're hard flat, you lose the matching principles. To me, the matching principles are definitely the way. But like I said, from time to time, you can play hard flats for real, and it's probably going to be the better way to go. I'll go ahead and try to send that extra blitz this time, which is something you can do from a couple different looks. As far as the blitz setup, you can just blitz all linebackers, hover this gap. If I pitch defensive line, it should still have a positive effect on the blitz. But realistically, it's not going to be like an A gap or nothing like that. You can create like an A gap or try by spreading everything and blitzing all linebackers. This is something where it'll give you an opportunity to get an A gap with the other blitzing linebacker if I drop back after the play starts. As you can see there, he barely picked them up. This play, the blitz is definitely nerfed. It's way better in college football than it is on Madden, but it's something you can still do to try to get some pressure from his defense. But ultimately, this is more of like a base defense for me anyway, where I'm really just going to run it mostly like this. Especially if I'm a mobile quarterback, I want to run it just like this, and this will be probably the best setup. Next up, we have the cover 3 cloud. I'm going to flip this in the huddle. Keep going random. Another play. I mean, if I want to go full coverage, if I could drop this guy back and not mess up anything that anybody else is doing. I could also use this guy however I want. I could put him on a QB spy. I could put him on a hard flat because we have a cloud flat on that side. So if I want a Mabel, I could use this guy as a Mabel. I could use him as a user, like I was saying, or like I said, if I expect my opponent to be running with the quarterback a lot, I can QB spy him. Then I'm going to drop my user back this far. Although, once again, if I want to help the pass rush, I can just put him on a blitz and then bring him down over the check mark here. That'll help my 3-man pass rush. Or I could also leave the QB spy on his pass rush. Lots of different options. Very flexible defense. But you can see how, there's the coverage is pretty good. We have a matching cover 3 on the right side. I'm sorry, it's matching cover 3 with the curl flat. Oh, that really isn't. That's a non-matching cover 3. I thought it was matching the way that he played that flat. We're going to leave the pass rush on this time. As you can see, we get a run play, but it was just too far away from me. I'm supposed to be the one shooting the gaps. That's why I'm starting to play so far back. But that's on me. So, pitch defensive line is pretty much all I really want to do. Edge containment under center would be more important to drop this guy down. You can turn on the matching to make this a matching. As you see right there, the edge containment was key since I dropped it. But you can turn on the matching principles by putting LB on a seam flat. And now it's a matching cover 3, which I would say would be a better way to go. I'd much rather matching cover 3 a lot of times than anything. As you can see right there, the match covers a little bit tighter. But just a good defense. This is a very hard defense that I don't want to play touchdown against because a lot of people don't know how to manipulate the deep zone. So a good defense that I definitely run a lot. Next up, we got the cover 2 man. So this play here, I typically find it's best so I don't have responsibility to user this guy and stand him up. And if you spread everybody, you have basically outside containment with the edges and inside containment with the linebackers and basically the user here. As you can see, we're just not going to let up a lot of outside stuff or inside stuff. So really good base defense setup here. I'm not a huge fan of cover two, although a lot of people like cover two man, so it's really up to you. But like I said, we're just spreading everything. And if I don't, if I don't get these guys out wide enough, I try to spread it manually. And you can see how it's like a 3-3 stack. As you can see, I have freedom to do what I want. The coverage is pretty tight though compared to a lot of other defenses. Next up, we have the overload 3 press. So this look here, you just want to bring this guy in about 5 yards outside the tackle. And then if you just want to blitz or, you can blitz or hover this gap here, you're really trying to get that cornerback around the edge. This is a very good blitz here. As you can see, it helps out with run defense. That's why you typically want to run it opposite the running back, because he shoots in a way that can help out with the inside zones and stuff like that. Go ahead and do this again. Like I said, I'll put him on a rush just to help out the rush team or the guys that are pass rushing. And you can see once again, get the A gap that time, stuffing them. Hopefully get some pass plays, though. But this is definitely one of the better defenses to use because it is a cover 3 as well. It's a cover 3 match, which I still find is one of the best ways to go. So you're getting pressure. You got to cover the entire middle by yourself, but that's fine. This is looking like it's going to be probably a run. And then you can see how he started like he was going to get off on that. Still some pretty bad pursuit angles there, as I thought he was going to get a house call. Definitely not necessarily, that a play like that, I probably would have wanted to hard flat. We'll go ahead and we'll bring this guy down. I pitched defensive line by mistake, but that's fine. It'll still work out the same way. As we're probably, I don't know why we're not getting any actual, we're not getting any pass plays right now. As we're stuffing that run, though. So like I said, just bring this guy in. That's the most important thing. Make sure you have a fast cornerback there. I have a 94 speed rookie. Cheap speed guy right now. And we're getting, that A guy. We haven't gotten a single pass play, but we also haven't given up much on the ground either. We haven't given up anything on the ground, really. Whether you consider that one jet sweep a pass or a run would be about it. As we're still getting run plays. Did I select random run? This is the last try before I go and pick a regular pass play myself. This is crazy. So let's get a pass play. There we go. Like I said, I get back on that tight end. Like I said, the coverages aren't really that great. I don't know how he got outside of that. Looked like we had some pressure though. As you can see, we get the, if I had to guess past, that defensive end probably would have been in that quarterback's ear. Next up, we have the Sam Will Blitz 3. Go with the random. This play here, once again, matching cover 3, very important. If I want to help the blitz out, all I got to do is blitz my user and drop him down. If I want to shoot run gaps, I just want to drop him back. It's really that simple. Not really sure what we're going to get here, but since we have edge containment, I mean, you can pitch defensive line, spread the linebackers to really set the base defense proper, but it didn't change much. So since we already have edge containment, if I want to help myself with this edge by bringing this guy in as another linebacker, I can do that, and I'll have a little bit of help as far as not making me too thin over the middle with the second level look. And you can see the matching cover 3 was better than your non-matching, but once again, I probably suffered from bringing this guy in. So if I'm expecting pass, I definitely want to have this guy closer, as I feel pretty confident that I can shoot these gaps all by myself anyway. So let's go ahead and let's do that one more time. As I'm waiting for what's probably going to be like an end around. Yeah, we got an end around again. And like I said, the edge containment's already there, although obviously I shot that gap poorly, did an okay job of cutting it off. But like I said, if I'm expecting a pass, I want to have this guy out wide. If I'm expecting a run, I want to have him inside more to help out. As we get another pass play, and he's all over the flat. He only gets a yard or two. You could also zone all linebackers if you really expect, if you want help, just zone all linebackers, and I'll put that guy into a hook curl. And then I could pay more attention to the other side because that hook curl will match. And we get a pick. Probably a pick 6. So like I said, those matching principles, that was on a double drags play, which is a very difficult play to cover pretty much with any defense. But that's another reason why I like this defense over most other defenses. Next up, we got Mike Blitz 0. So this play here, a couple different ways you can do it. You can use this guy, and if you hover one of these gaps, you have no responsibility once the play starts. If it's a pass, I want to hover these gaps, but if it's a run, I want to drop back. Although obviously you can see we get some pressure based off of that with the crossing routes. Nothing really, got through pretty quick. But that's what I mean. I'm going to pull these linemen inside. You can see a lot of times this guy's going to get a one-on-one with a running back, or if there's no running back blocking, he's just going to come off the edge free. You could also send the house, which would be the equivalent of using whoever's on the running back. If the running back goes out on a pattern, once again, drop down to get that green check mark. But if the running back goes down a pattern, I got to cover it, though. And I really would rather be cutting off routes over the middle. So I like the other setup first, a little bit better. But if you really want to send that guy too, you can also spread the defensive line. Just bring this guy in closer. And you can see how a lot of times will loop in, although the running back picked him up once again. But once again, if that was an RPO, which is what it looked like, not a lot going on there to stop that. So here we go, one more time. I really find it's best, since he's looping to the defensive tackle side, to use the weak side here. And you can see how he's, once again, the rush. I mean, Mahomes is running to the point where he's forcing the guard to pick it up. But otherwise, he wouldn't, it would just be coming in free. But lots of options here. So once again, this is probably my favorite setup right here. Spreading or pinching doesn't really matter. As you can see, the pass defense is still giving up, but it's still a very good, good base defense. Next we have Cub 4 Show 2. This is a good RPO defense, as a lot of times these might be the best in the formation, as these quarter flats here a lot of times will play, but you can see he has a run fit. So if you want to force the screen, you just want to guess pass, which is RBR1 and up on the right stick, and you'll see how this slot defender here is going to do a much better job now of getting out and covering that. Well, this might be a flat to the tight end. Yeah, he's all over that. I mean, they're going to have to hand it off that time. So you can always force this to cover that by guessing pass. But the real key to this particular play is going to be its run defense. So we'll go ahead and we'll go random run. So against a look like this, I mean, I expect this to be the first play, but you can go ahead and just hit wire triangle and show blitz, because these safeties are going to be key. I also can play underneath hard flat, and you're going to see how if I drop back here where basically the safeties are, I won't get targeted. Now it's kind of like having three linebackers in the middle here that are playing the run. As you can see, the safeties make the play. This is going to be your best run defense. Even if you're at the goal line, you can see how that worked out. Go ahead, we'll do this again. Like I said, bringing this guy in, hard flatting. These are all things that I would do in a base defense. This looks like a pass play, and if it's a pass play, I would definitely run it this way. But we did pick random run, and we know that. And you see how that edge contains just there to stop the run. So definitely best run defense, especially once, like I say, like I said, the safeties are really what makes this so good as they walk down in the box. But they're getting picked up. You can see right here, the receivers are getting to their level and picking them up, which isn't always going to be the case, but it did on that particular play. So your best run defense, best RPO defense, I would say, in this formation. Next up, we have the nickel overload 3. Keep going random. Another play where I don't really have to do anything. I mean, it's kind of set up for me, but if I want to kit the blitz a little bit better, I can bluff blitz this guy. He'll still do his assignment. He'll still do, I don't even think I did the right guy, though. Hold on one second. I'm going to reset the play, but I'm trying to bluff blitz B. So if we bluff blitz B here, he's still going to do the seam flat. He's just going to get a little bit of a pass rush recognition, and then I'm going to use the linebacker anyway. So this looks like a run, if I had to guess. Not the best run defense if that's what they do. As you can see right there, we almost got a pick. But he still forced out pretty quickly. I'm going to guess it was pressure that made him get that ball out like that. As you can see here, once again, we just have, maybe he's reading the cornerback coming outside. I'll go ahead. I mean, if I'm running this side, I just want to make sure this guy's down at the line. That's the best way to get pressure from this. And we're not going to bluff blitz on this play. Like I said, I got enough guys coming. And you can see we got a disengage in the middle there. Little B gap came through. I'm not sure if that was because of the outside blitzing cornerback. If they tried to rotate over, couldn't really tell. If he just won today. But yeah, you can see it's like the center looks like he's trying to pass him off to nobody. That's really looks like what happens. That's a pass off look where he's trying to pass off and get over to me or something. But yeah, there's not a lot of guys getting blocked here. So like I said, if you just on this play, just bring this guy down. Close might be better. I'll spread the line though. I'll pinch the defensive line, which is going to spread the linebackers. And once again, they'll just force them to try to pick me up quicker or sooner. And you can see the coverage is there. I mean, I'm not getting that. Probably should have been a knockout, but getting decent coverage. To me, this is not the best blitz, but it's definitely a good alternate blitz if they're trying to slide pro to pick up the other blitzes. Next up, we got the nickel dog 3. So this play here, just make sure that the cornerback's down at the line of scrimmage once again, and then you can bring this guy down just to bring all the linemen in close. If they have 6 blockers, it'll probably pick it up. And this can give away your coverage a little bit. As you see, they're just kind of doing an RPO or some sort of quick throw. But this is something where it's, once again, you can get that cornerback off the edge there relatively easily without doing too much. It's like a good alternate blitz. rather than the regular blitzes that they might pick up. If it's a run though, you want to start back here, which just looks like a run. It's not a run, and now you can still see we got the pressure though. It's still a good blitz, even without me being over the gap. Somebody came in here. Let's see what happened. Yeah, we got an A gap right there. So like I said, you're still going to get some pretty good pressure looks as Mitchell came off the edge pretty easily as well. And that happened without me even being down at the line of scrimmage. So I'm going to go ahead and start back here again, see if we get that same look. You see that that seam flat's going to have to get out quickly to cover Rice. And you can see he really does not. But we still get that same pressure. So very good pressure. And then I wasn't really covering. I was just watching Kelsey. But it's a good lesson in multiple ways. Because like I said, you don't really watch the replay to see what happened. Because I am curious to see why we got that A-gap on back-to-back plays so easily. That looked more like a disengaged blitz. Or disengaged from Carter, which I think you get naturally. But on a play like this, you definitely don't want to run this blitz with that, because the seam flat's going to try to match the slot. He's way too far to do that. So unless you want to bring him out here, which he's not really designed to do anyway, considering that he's going to go right back, but he's just going to have a hard time getting back on that slot receiver. So just keep that in mind. So we're here once again. We're going to drop back here because it's looking like a run play. And I'll actually try to cover my assignment. But like I said, the seam flat, he's just not going to be able to cover that. So it's formational based whether or not you can run this play. You can't run this against spread looks like this. But tighter looks, yeah, you can run that. And you can see you can get a lot of pressure that way. Next up, we have the mid blitz. Now here we're going to drop back under, we'll just go back to something. We do random gun. This play here, lots of setups. If you want to, one of the easier ways is just bring the guy that's using the running back down over the center or over the guard if you want to before dropping back. As you can see, it'll just get a lot of pressure. But once again, cover 0 is not a great coverage. So don't expect, a ton out of that. Although here, I don't know why they have. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so we're going to be using the cornerback this time. Like I said, to me, over the center's best, but it makes it a little bit harder to cover the running back if he goes out on a flat. As you can see right here, we're getting somebody unblocked. Even though it's 6-on-6, you saw we had somebody. If you're watching the right outside linebacker, you saw somebody was coming in unblocked. You can pinch the defensive line, which is D-pad to the left and down. That'll spread the linebackers a little bit. And you can also pinch the defensive or the linebackers, which is D-pad to the right and down. And that'll just kind of pinch the formation. Either one's good. They're both solid. You can see once again we get the free rusher. Even though there was blocking 6, Like that's something you're going to see a lot. As I was trying to see on the last play that this defensive end was coming off, or this outside linebacker was coming off free. A lot of people, though, will pinch the D-line and then slant inside. I'll have to do it twice. And then you can take whoever's using, once again, on the running back and then bring him over the middle. And this allows you to put like the B defender on a flat and the X defender on a flat or something like that if you want to. Although I find any flat you want. It could be curl flats, whatever. And you can see how we still get those, what they call disengage pressures. Although in that play it was just a run stop. But it's the same idea. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that again. It's that really easy setup, and it gives you the option to put these outside guys on whatever type of flats you want. So if I want to run, seam flats would be best in my opinion because they match. I would go double seam flats, but that's really up to you guys. So here we go once again. It really depends on what your opponent's doing. As we're going to try to get some more disengage pressure, and the seam flat took care of that. That was the seam flat matching, which is really the key here. So we're going to do it again. Seam flat, both sides. So we should get some disengage pressures if Mahomes has to hold the ball a little bit longer. And if he runs the ball, you can see, they're right in his face. The rush, the mush rush there, even though he got the ball out, is right in his face when he gets the ball out. You see the entire pile is pushed back right into Mahomes. Somebody's going to get off that eventually. So, pinch defensive line, slant inside, and I'm using the wrong guy. Just make sure you're not using the wrong guy. Typically, you don't want to be using the corner. Or, you wouldn't expect that anyway. So, there we go, one more time. And you can see the mush rush, we get that disengage, boom, sack, real easy. So lots of ways to do it with this play. Another way is to use one of these outside guys and then spread the line and flip around. I've showed this before too. And you can see how a lot of times we'll get a free guy. There was the defensive end, but you can see usually it used to be the defensive tackle, but that time it was the end that got off. You can see usually they picked up the tackle, but somebody's still going to come in free. I mean, they might have passed just a little bit, but it still still works pretty similarly. And here you got free. You don't have to cover the running back or nothing like that. As you can see right there, it didn't work that time. But you know, it's like I said, they tried to patch a lot of these, but it still works pretty similarly because that's just how this play is. As I spread the wrong guy, although that's also set up too. I'll show you that setup in a minute. There's 4 setups you can do out of this particular play. As you can see, once again, defensive end comes off this time. It's better than the defensive tackle. If that's what they say, is Mahomes runs for it. If that's what they say they pass, it is better than the defensive tackle. But it's still a free rusher coming in. The other thing you can do is spread the defensive line or spread the linebackers, which deep to the right and up, and bring this guy in closer before dropping back. Although I think I'd rather bring the guy closer on this side, but I don't know if the blitz still works that way. But I'd rather be on this side with the receivers. So, but I know that it works this way. So we're gonna bring this guy in. And I'll guess pass this time. And you'll see how one of these linebackers should come in free every single time up the middle. And I could drop back on Kelsey there. Although we didn't get the pressure that I wanted that time. As I typically spread both. That might have been my fault. I might not have spread the line as well. You want to spread the linebacker and the defensive line. And now you can see we get that guy, but we didn't guess pass, as we still get a crazy pass rush. So that's really the key. I guess I messed up the last time, but you saw them come right down the pipe, and I once again didn't guess pass. So I'll guess pass this time, so he won't go after the running back. And you can see how we're gonna get somebody free every single time, and it's just chaos. You know what I mean? Like we're getting free guys, no matter what. We're getting free guys. So like I said, bring this guy closer just so he gets picked up, or they target him and try to slide his way, and then boom, A gap. I didn't even guess pass that time, but you can see this is just crazy defensive formation. Next up, we're going to choose cover 3 seam. We'll keep going. I'm going to go random gun again. So, against cover 3, I mean, a spread defense like this is actually perfect. I'm not going to do anything. I can blitz all. I can still get away with blitzing all, which would be the setup for the blitz, which is D-pad to the right and down, and then just bring this guy closer. And then, I mean, I could also do the same setup where I just want to flip this guy around. But I can still drop back on that on my job. The seam flats are going to cover the slot receivers no matter what. So I just have to drop back on 5. And doing this should still allow, as I didn't necessarily do a good job, but you see it didn't matter because the pressure got through. I didn't really see where it came from. But once again, they switched it up. It used to be the A gap. Now it's the B gap. Big deal. I mean, it's still just as effective. So against an empty backfield like that, I would definitely suggest doing it that way. But like I said, it's going to work against... Here's another scenario where I got to get back on Kelsey, but it's going to work the same way. And I just have to drop on him. He's not even getting a chance at getting the throwaway. So here, whenever you have it modeled like this, you can do the second setup, which is going to be dropping all these guys back and then just guessing, spreading the defensive line, spreading the linebackers, and then blitzing all, and then bringing this guy over, the user over. Although once again, I'm not sure if I can do it from the other side. I'll try to do it from the other side because that's where all the receivers are, so it makes more sense. This will be an easier way for me to drop back on 5, and even you can see once again the blitz pressure gets through, and it was a run play and it still got through. So lots of different setups you can do, but you could also just use her like I'm gonna play like this since there's nobody on the right side. I'll just use this guy. We'll just send the house. You know what I mean? Just blitz all. Use this guy. Once again, we get a run play to the outside, which I can do a better. I didn't really explain the coverage here. You have a lot of really good coverage options where you could, the seam flats are really good in my opinion. They'll match in a spread offense. You want to leave the seam flats on a lot of times, especially if there's somebody threatening the seam like we have right here. So this guy will match. Mitchell will match that. But you also have the ability to hard flat and take that away. I don't actually want to do this setup. I don't want to keep doing that. You can hard flat and take the second biggest weakness on like the right side where it's more condensed. That would be a side where I'd want a hard flat. Like if it was like that on both sides, or we're tighter to the line of scrimmage, I would definitely hard flat on both sides to take that away. We'll leave it like this though. I have no idea what they're gonna do. As you can see, we got that A gap and then boom. That was still the matching seam flat. It looked like a hard flat as he was all over that, but that was the seam flat. Seam flat will do a really good job. That was an RPO too, which shows how good of an RPO defense this is. But right here, like I'm saying, tight to the line of scrimmage, we can go hard flat. because that's more likely. And on a play like this, no matter what, I can cover the whoever goes up the seam, I can cover them. 487 doesn't really matter. As I have the underneath route there, and I just didn't jump. I thought I hit the wide triangle button, but it didn't jump. But yeah, very good defense, very good base defense. Probably my favorite here. Next up, we'll choose Tampa 2. So this play here, if you want to, you can just blitz Nolan Smith and then drop down in the gap, and this will give you pretty good pressure as well as leaving some coverage. I would say spread the defensive line, even pinch the defensive line would be the best way to go. Spread the linebackers, pinch the defensive line. And this will give you your best opportunity to have like coverage and a good blitz. As you can see right there, we get a good blitz right out the gate. I didn't really see what happened, but it looks like he just got a shed as he just kind of ping-ponged around in there and just got through. It kind of looked like a disengaged pressure. So we'll do that again. Like I said, I can just, D-pad to the right twice, and then B down the right stick. Got him on a blitz, and then, like I said, I'm not really supposed to be on a blitz, but they will pick me up as a potential blitz candidate. As you can see here, we're getting more disengaged pressure. So a very good way to get a pressure here is we get it off the edge on both sides. Set up one more time. Like I said, very easy pressure system. As you can see, right, once again, he's gonna get it out quick. But we have decent coverage on the backside here, as we have a good cover 2. That isn't a matching cover 2, but it's still it's still solid. I mean, cover 2 is as good as you can get for outside of a matching cover 2. So we're gonna do this one more time before we try a different style. And you can see once again, that dude just doesn't get picked up. We're getting another. The flats don't really cover too great right now. They're trying to patch that. Once they patch these flats, it'll probably be a better defense to run. But for right now, you can see how the cloud flats just drop back way too far and don't cover anything. But that's something that should be fixed. Another thing you can do is you can spread everyone and blitz all linebackers. And then once again, come down in this gap before dropping back. This is going to be a lesser version of coverage, as you'll have a lot. As you see right there, I don't know why that blitzing guy keeps following whoever's pulling. If I would have guessed pass, though, it would have changed that. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do it again and guess pass this time. Blitz all linebackers, which is D-pad to the left, or D-pad to the right and down the right stick. And like I said, I'm going to try to just drop back. If I'm going to do it like this, by the way, especially against, we get some good run defense there. If I'm going to do this against this look, you can just press, because honestly, or show blitz. I shouldn't say press. Show blitz is a better way to do it, which is going to be RB, because it's going to bring everybody down. And once again, just spread everybody. Although it's not really letting me do that from the show blitz look, so press I guess was the way. Because I don't have as much coverage here, so I'm gonna want these guys to play more of a coverage aspect. But if they're spread wide, that's not a good idea. Like I said, I'm just trying to get that A gap there, which I did get. As you see, we stopped the corner or the running back in the backfield there. If you gained a yard, I'd be surprised. But you can see how we got pressure from multiple spots once again. Outside guy comes in, but the guy I'm really trying to get is the guy right up the middle, and that's exactly what we get. We get that A gap right up the gut. So a couple different ways to do this. Pretty much every play in this formation. Next up, we have the pinch buck 0. This is going to be something you probably want to run typically against people that go under center. So we're going to go random single back here. Let's go random single back this close. There's a couple different things you could do as well. If you wanted, you could try to spread the entire defensive line, which is D-pad to the left and up, and then D-pad to the right and up. And you'll see how this will help is to get an A-gap pressure a lot of times. So we'll go ahead, we'll step down this gap one more time. And you can see how this guy comes right through. But once again, we didn't actually guess pass, so we went for the running back. But you can see we still get a disengage on the other side, too. As there's really multiple ways to run this defense. Here, it just looks like, Brandon Graham didn't get touched coming in. He just basically came in free, which is something you'll get a lot because I'm stepping into the guard gap. We're going to do that again, and this time we'll actually guess pass. Although guessing pass with these large gaps is not the best idea. This is going to make the run defense a little bit less, as you can see right here, we get our best run. Doing this is going to make it a little bit more likely for an inside run. Although it will help with outside runs because obviously there's not going to be as much, you have much better edge containment here. So here we go once again. He almost came through that gap untouched, but you can see the edge comes off that time. I really got to guess pass, so we're going to guess pass this time, which is RBR1 and up on the right stick. And let's see if we can get him to come right down that center gap. As you can see right there, he was right in front of, obviously he threw it out to the flat for a yard. But if you watch the replay there, this is the look we're trying to get, where this guy comes right down the pipe. Very easy A-gap pressure right down the center. Next up, we have the cover 4 quarters. So another base defense will go random. This play here, if you're on the goal line, this is probably one of my favorite goal line differences. You can pinch the entire defense and then hard flat to basically take away the biggest weakness, which is the dropping cornerbacks underneath. Also, it'll override the matching principles and just give you a better, just a better deep coverage. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, all I'm going to do is use this guy here, and since I'm blitzing, I basically have the ability, because if I'm on a blitz, it'll increase the rush. Since I'm blitzing, if I hover the gap, it'll act like I'm blitzing throughout the entire play, so the rush will be a little bit better. And you see they're spread they're slanting outside, which is going to make the rush decent rush. But I'm going to drop back. It's going to give me 2 hook zones over the middle. As you can see, nothing's really open. And he's trying to hit a home run, but we're going to get an interception. So, like I said, even with that pinch, from this alignment, you don't want to pinch against every offensive alignment, but against this alignment, I can pinch. I'm not saying to do that every single time. I'm saying that against this particular one, we can do that. And if I want to back everybody off, I think I can do it individually. Like especially the outside cornerbacks, that would probably be the only area where I would want to individually back these guys off just a little bit. But the safeties I like nice and tight. So, like I said, from this look, a spread look, you don't want to do that. Here we kind of both doubled up on the running back for whatever reason, so that's on me. You don't have to, you can leave these matching principles on too, and I still want to make sure that I'm hovering the gap with my center. Also, you can do the same base setup, pinch defensive line, spread the linebackers, and I'm going to let the quarter flats work because you really only got to worry about quarter flats if there's more receivers out there. You know what I mean? Like if you want the tighter the coverage, like that right there was right on top of them, you could go with the quarter flats, leave the matching principles on, and they'll be a lot better. If I expect run though, I still want to drop back. If I expect pass, I still want to be like right down over the till my green check mark pops up, because I want to help that pass rush out. But you can see how it made it harder for me to be a helpful run defender. So it's really on you. This is a really good base defense because of all the different things you can do. If I expect run though, I want to start back here. If I expect pass, I want to start underneath. We'll go ahead. We'll just pinch the entire defense here. Play it like it's a run, like I'm expecting a run. And it looks like we might have a pass, and I get caught up. Even though I was a blitzer, so it's not the end of the world. And then you see the matching principles do a little bit of a better job down the field than they would have if I just cancel them. So once again, a very flexible defense, just like the cover 3. Use it pretty much the same way. And you can see here, we don't get targeted because we started far enough back that they're not going to pick us up. Although I took the wrong angle regardless. Next up, we have the cover 3 match. Same idea. You can pinch, spread. This is probably your best base defense look because cover 3 match is probably one of the better base defenses in my opinion as far as the matching principles of the cover 3 seams. Not necessarily against this look here, but if you have a more spread look, those seam flats are going to match 9 times out of 10. Although you also have the option to cancel the matching principles if you just hit wire triangle and down the right sticker. You're going to hard flat, which is going to cover underneath the cover 3 cornerbacks. Or you could even instead you could switch this to a regular cover 3 by playing over the top and turning those seam flats into curl flats, and then they'll just drop back into the flat. So you have a lot of different options there. But cover 3, in my opinion, is probably best as a base defense, especially if you pinch the defensive line for inside runs and then spread the linebackers for outside runs. Now this is going to be your best base defense. So I'll run it a couple times like this. But you could also send pressure from this look using the same blitz setup as I get sucked in there. And that's probably on me. I probably could have followed that guy a little bit more. They tried to shoot the gap, but play like the real Nakobe Dean and tried to shoot the gap there. But let's go ahead and let's keep doing, from a look like this, like I said, I let the offensive formation a lot of times dictate whether I hard flat or whether I play over the top or let it run as a regular cover 3 seam. You can see right there, the hard flats shut down the underneath play. A lot of times I'll let the, if it's a spread defensive look, I'll let the seam flat stay. But there's nothing really threatening the seams here from this tight, compact look. So you can see right here, we get the run defense is solid, doesn't get much. You can stand back. That's why I'm typically standing back here, is because I want to have, if I stay back this far, the lineman won't target me, and I can shoot these gaps a lot better. Although I keep biting on that, as you can see right there. The run defense is solid. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you some pass play or some blitz setups. I'm going to get some pass plays. As far as the blitz setup, I'm just going to spread everybody once again and blitz all linebackers. The reason I flip the play in the huddle is because I want to know that the side that I'm on is the side that doesn't have the seam flat. The other side has the seam flat, so that'll cover pretty well. I just have to make sure that I get back on the tight end and the receiver on my side and play that seam flat as we get a run. But you can see once again, even with the spread alignment, the run defense is solid, and that's probably because that guy came right down the pipe. So we're going to go do it again. Hopefully get some pass plays. Not too many run plays. I'm not guessing As you can see right there, I didn't guess run as the linebacker. You know, if I really want to kick this blitz up a notch, because that linebacker is the guy I'm expecting to get through, I can guess pass, RB1 up on the right stick. And you can see how he's just coming right down the pipe. And we get sacks, even though he still hit the running back. I guess pass. He still tackled the running back, which is just stupid. But you can see how he just comes right down the pipe. And then the guy off the edge is also coming right down the pipe, as we have just a really good blitz from multiple ways. Going to do that one more time, because like I said, I would like to get the blitz from Bond, from the other inside guy. As you can see here, he gets picked up. It's not always going to work out. But you can see the coverage was pretty tight, too, from that flat that I was talking about, even though he didn't make the tackle. So I do get to show a little bit of the pass defense. It was there. It's just that the tackle wasn't made. But it is what it is. So guess pass one more time. Like I said, I'm trying to make sure we get that guy in. And here we get disengaged. And like I said, we're just getting a lot of heat. You know what I mean? They can't pick everybody up. Next up, we got the Sam Blitz 3. It's another play we can use the universal blitz setup. Although this guy being back is kind of a tell. So you have to drop him down, blitz all. And you can always just bring this guy in and cover that side by yourself. And this will a lot of times get the linebacker on the other side in, or even the linebacker up the middle. As you can see right here, he fills. Although he can't tackle, and I kind of gave him the play expecting him to tackle, so he got a few more yards than he should have. But we're going to do that again. Like I said, blitz all, bring this guy close. I have to cover that area outside anyway, so it only makes sense. And we get that A-gap pressure. So like I said, you can get it from a couple of different areas. You can get it from the inside, you can get it from the outside. This one looked like it came right down the pipe. Although, no, it actually came from the outside. But you can see all the switching going on is what creates this chaos and lets people get in free. As you can't even get what looked like it just be a check down route out. Another good play is the cover for quarters. We're going to pick that. This is probably going to be your best run defense. So bring your safeties down into the box a little bit. Pinch that defensive line one more time. And hard flat for your best possible base defense. Spread the defense. Spread these linebackers too, so that they can maintain the outside from the linebackers. And this would be your best pass defense and run defense. Although it's not going to get a lot of pressure. You have a pressure package look too, where it's going to be the same idea. Just blitz all blitz all linebackers. Do a universal blitz, and you'll get pressure. I'll guess pass. Not sure if it's going to be a pass, but it's not going to be. As you can see, it was a pass, and they still, even though I guessed pass, they still bid on the play action, which is crazy. So I don't know what's going on here. So pinch the defensive line, spread the linebackers. If you want to blitz all for better pass rush, obviously. And then hover the gap, hover the center before dropping back into coverage. Looks like it's going to be a run. But like I said, you have that edge defender, which is maintaining the outside, so it's not going to be very easy to run to the outside. Can't run up the middle either because of the pinch defensive alignment. I'll go ahead and continue to try to get some sacks by sending the blitz, sending the house. And you can see right there, I mean, I thought he was getting tackled by the computer, so that's why I kind of failed on the block. But this is cover 4, so once again, if you don't guess past these safeties, we'll play the run first. So it'll be your best run defense in the formation. Looks like we're going to have a run play. I don't know if it's going to be a fake, but yeah, going nowhere. Might have to choose a pass play because this just isn't happening. We're not getting any pass plays here. Might have one here. Nope. And tackling's broken. I'll try this one more time before I pick a pass play, considering that we're just not getting any. And we finally got one. But he's getting it out to the flats, so it is what it is. But, you know, you can take my word for it. This is a defense a lot of people have been running for a long time. Since last year, it still works out very well. Next up, we have the 4-3 even 6-1. We have the Sam Will Blitz. D-pad to the left and down to pinch is all you really have to do. And then hovering the gap. You're going to have to cover the running back if he goes down in the pattern. But this is pretty much it, as the defensive or the outside linebackers will do a really good job. As we've got like a pretty instant sack there. And I don't think that was from the defensive ends. I think that was from the defensive tackles. So I'll go ahead and go back to the replay there to see what actually happened. As you can see, the defensive tackle, or no, the defensive end got in. So you can see how they're really confused the linemen having everybody in so tight. I mean, everybody was getting through. Outside linebackers, defensive ends, you name it. Pinch defensive line by hitting the D-pad to the left and down. And that's going to give you a good look here where you can slant them outside. Also, D-pad to the left and up. And I'm going to spread the linebackers by hitting D-pad to the left and up just to get them wide, as this is going to be your best bet to get those edge linebackers off. Hover the gap till your green bar pops up, and you can see how, it's not going to be the best run defense. It's probably going to be better for cover 4. But this is a very good blitz if your opponent's passing from under center. So we'll go and do that one more time. Really just have to pinch defensive line and spread the linebackers. That's all you really have to do. Even leaving the linebackers in the position that they were, although I can't really get them back without resetting the play, but even at the default spacing is pretty good. This will just help out with your edge pressure and run defense. As you can see, once again, not the best run defense. That's going to be cover 4. This is really more of a blitz. Really a better pass defense, but like I said, I'll just leave the outside guys. Just pinching the defensive lines, all you really need to do, and hover the gap. And you can see right there we get a knockout. It's going to be quick throws all day with this type of pressure. Let's do this again. So we're already automatically on top of that as we get a fake. And then you can see the man defender comes down, just fills that hole. Go ahead and keep it up. So here we're going to get a pressure, though. Guessing pass would have been huge there. As you can see, that rusher got him free, but he tackled the running back. So if it's like a 3rd and long and you're running this play, or an obvious passing situation, say that your opponent's down, then you're going to want to guess pass so that he'll actually forego these play actions. There I guess pass, and he still made the play, so it's not always a bad idea. Obviously, guessing pass has a little bit of a penalty involved when it comes to run plays, but we're just going to go over and leave it like this, and you can see that, quick throws can be a bit of an issue. You might want to close the gap with the safeties there if you have time. Bring these guys down so those quick throws aren't as open because of the distance. As you can see right there, man, we're getting, there's so many opportunities for pressure on a play like this. Next up, we have the SS Blitz 2. Go ahead and pick random. Another matching defense with soft squats. Not a lot of setup, just pinch defensive line. Bring this cornerback down a little bit, although sometimes you don't really have to do that. It's somewhat fine, if I'm being honest. You probably want to put this other guy here in a middle read, though, so you don't have that responsibility yourself, because that's going to be better than just a vert hook. But this is it. Just hover the gap. You got to drop back and cover the action side. As you can see, pressure's making the quarterback go crazy, and he's basically getting sacked. Go on, let's watch the replay. I didn't really see what happened. It looks like they might have rotated out to pick him up, although I think he had trouble getting around. But it creates chaos is the point. You don't always have to get it from the cornerback. As you can see, a couple other guys get some switch pressures where their linemen kind of switch them off, and it gives them the angle. Let's go ahead and let's get this look, though. Like I said, if I really want to go full setup, though, I want to make sure I have a mid-read here or put him in a middle third. It's really up to you. Cover 2 is going to do a very good... I mean, Cover 2 is better this year, but it's going to do a very good job of stopping these outside routes. As you can see, he was right there. There was really nothing open. Didn't get much. Not many yards. Like I said, we'll just continue to make sure we mid-read this guy, because mid-read's a little better because he will, at the very least... he'll drop back on deep routes, but he'll also play short. As you get right there, I mean, that was something that I probably should have been on top of, but you can see how it gets knocked out anyway. So go ahead and drop that guy down just a little bit. Mid-read this guy. Game's a little buggy right now, so I'm not really doing the D-pad twice, although that is usually an option. And there I just played a little bit too shallow. That's on me, but the mid-read was there to stop it for not too much of a gain. Like I said, mid-read's the MVP. In cover 2, cornerback's already down there. I'm blessed with that. He's already in play space where he needs to be, so I don't have to waste any time setting that up. And he'll probably get, almost got an interception. I'm sure that I'm sure he was getting him free to force that quick throw. Because a lot of times the computer will make the decision to just rather throw an interception. But yeah, I don't really know what was that about right there. So I'm going to do that one more time. So I'd like to get a little bit more. I mean, I've shown this exact same pressure setup in a couple different plays. So it's not the, as I almost, he gets a couple yards there. Like I said, I do like the cover 2 this year. It does a good job of covering the outside. I'm going to forget the mid-read this one time just because I want to set this up quick in hopes that I can get, something a little bit quicker. But like I said, I mean, the coverage is tight. It's a matching style coverage. They're all over it. Getting some catches for a couple yards, but not much. So I'm skipping the mid-read because I just want to see if I can make this guy hold the ball a little bit longer. As you can see, once again, not much underneath. Looked like he got tackled by his own guy. But it's the same play as the 3 and a lot of the other plays that are shown. So I'm not going to keep, I don't have to do this too much. As you can see, the pressure is going to be the same. And there we finally get him to hold the ball for a half a second to get planted with the ball. Go watch the replay just like we have in all these plays from this series. This cornerback just comes looping around, and it's 5-on-6. Running back misses. We get a free rusher. So really only 4 guys get blocked against 6 blockers. Next up we have the Mike SS3. Very simple setup, same to the SS and the weak safety blitz series, where you're just going to pinch defensive line, D-pad to left and down, bring this guy down towards the line of scrimmage, and hover the gap with this particular linebacker here, which is going to give you 2 dropbacks options. As you have a matching cover 3 behind it, it's just going to give you the option to drop back. Although we get a run play here, you can see having 2 linebackers there is going to work out as we get the stop for no gain. But you can see this is going to be very similar with one less. I'll have more help over the middle. That's the bottom line. Excuse me. So let's go ahead. Let's get this blitz going as we get an interception, or we should have. It looked like the blitzer was coming in over the middle. Let's go over the outside. Let's go and let's watch the replay. It looks like he didn't get picked up. As you can see, the tackle can't register it. He's just coming in fresh right there. Let's go and let's do that again. So bring that guy down just a little bit. You can bring out the 3-leg hook a little more if you want, but like I said, I'm going to have 2 guys over the middle and all my other zones covered up as we actually get a screenplay once again, but the linebacker's there, the defensive end is there, which is nice to have a little bit of help over the middle sometimes, as much as I don't necessarily feel like I need it. It's always good to have somebody. As you can see right there, it gets about 2 yards. He's not holding the ball very long though. I don't know if he's feeling this pressure coming or what. He's at a decent depth already. If you don't have time to fix that, that's fine. He's at a perfectly fine depth. I don't really need to worry about that. As we get the sack that time from the exact same cornerback blitzing spot. But like I said, you just get a little bit more help and coverage. So it's basically the same thing. As I'll go and I'll show the replay. I didn't really see what happened. But that cornerback just makes a beeline right for and this is a play where, look, you can tell the running back's blocking too. So this is you only got 4 guys blitzing versus 6 blockers. And this guy still gets in for an easy sack or a throw to sack animation. Next up, we have the weak safety blitz 2. We're going to go ahead and flip that again, so we can run it opposite the running back, and then we're going to pick random. Same idea. Like I said, we're not really getting that rotation, but you can bring this guy over. And then I would suggest showing 3, because that safety will have less distance to travel. But it's going to be the same setup as the weak safety blitz series that I was showing before. Or in the strong safety blitz, we're just going to pitch defensive line behind the D-pad to left and down, and then hovering the center here, and you'll see how you get a lot of pressure, although I didn't use it very well. But you did see, if you're watching the blitz, because like I was kind of paying attention to that, you did see that once again, it comes in the exact same way. So let's go ahead and let's watch the replay here, as the running back doesn't really come around and rotate to pick it up. You can see he's right in his ear. The running back misses it because it's on the opposite side. So you can get consistent pressure from this look the same way you can the SS blitz series and the weak safety blitz series. And this is another matching cover 2, which is going to be one of the better ones in my opinion. So that really just makes it better. So like I said, just show 3 so that safety has less distance to travel to cover his hash. And you'll have what looks like a cover 3, but then it'll rotate into a cover 6. So stay here, get them green bars popping up, and then that's going to be one. This is cover 2, so the cornerbacks will do a little bit of a better job stopping stuff like that. But once again, it's still not your traditional. It's still not the best way to go against RPOs. Cover 4 palms is. Go ahead and let's do that. Show 3 again. This is all you got to do here. So he has a little less space to travel, to rotate over. As we get that sack once again, or that throw out of blitz animation once again, from the exact same place. Because like I said, this is one of the better ways to get pressure. You can see he just comes across slowly. Nobody picks him up. And boom, we're in the quarterback's ear. I think the running back went on a route, but we're still 5-on-5 with a free rusher. Next up, we have the big nickel over G weak safety blitz 1. This is a little bit different. We're going to go and we're going to flip that. The SS blitz 2 and 3 are better than the weak safety blitz 2 and 3, but I don't have a man coverage in that series. So this, if you want to run man cover 1, you have that here. All you got to do is pinch defensive line, bring that safety down if he doesn't come down automatically like he used to. I don't know if it's a glitch, if it's something they're going to fix. Have a pinch defensive line hitting D-pad to left and down, and then hover the gap with whoever's using the running back, and you have that same style of blitz just from a man coverage, which, like I said, I can't offer from the other side. So man coverage is pretty decent, especially cover ones. You see with the knockout there. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I mean, you're just going to get that. You're going to get that same look, but from a cover one, which I don't really have otherwise. And you can see against the run, it's going to be solid because I have the defensive line pinched. Very simple. And hopefully we'll get some pass plays so we can show off how this blitz works. But you should have seen that in the other plays, as it's going to be the same. I just have to cover this running back, which can be a little bit of a problem. And I'm guessing that safety got in because we got that auto check down look. Every time we get that auto check down look, I'm guessing that the blitz was coming through. So let's go and let's take a look at the replay. As you can see, the weak safety blitz coming around, but you know he didn't necessarily get that look. And then you also have the defensive end switching off on a guard, which you can see he was about to beat that block anyway. So it's very similar as those other ones. It will get pressure, but it allows you to do it from a cover one. Except we have the weak safety blitz 3. Let's go and pick that. This play here, right now, this safety doesn't come down, but you can bring him down and have the exact same look to this blitz as we did from the SS blitz. So I feel the SS blitz 3 is a little bit better. This will bring it from the other side, and you could always bring this guy in and the safety down on just about every single play so they look the same. They look similar, and then your opponent will never really know where that blitz is coming from. But truthfully, it's always going to work out better blitzing on the opposite side of the running back anyway, because that running back will typically pick that up. So if you want to like flip the play in the huddle, you could do that. I find that you don't really need this play as much because it's kind of doing the same thing at a less successful rate than the SS Blitz 3. So to me, I would just rather run that, but I want to at least show this because you do have the ability to get that blitz pressure from a different position. As you can see right here, that safety, maybe he's faster than your cornerback because he runs right against the sack. So this is not too much. It's the exact same setup. It's kind of the exact same thing as the SS Blitz 3 and the SS Blitz 2. You just can see that, you know, it's a very similar play. You're just getting it from a different position. Next up, we got the cover 6 trap. Another full matching defense. Soft squat and quarter flat means it's 100% matching defense. You don't really have to make any adjustments. I'll just pinch defensive line for run defense and bring my user inside. That's all I really got to do. I'm going to watch the action side here with the three wide, and you can see how, you know, there's just nothing open to the point where the computer's throwing it right to me on the very first play. So definitely it's been one of my favorite matching style zone coverage defenses for a while. If you expect run, pinch the defensive line. If you expect pass, spread it. That's about the only thing that I could say. Once again, not a great RPO defense. It's not horrible. As you can see, only give about 3 yards. But, you know, there are some RPO defenses are, you know, there's ones that are better than others. Quarter flat's decent, though. It'll do a decent job. You can move them outside to try to get around those blockers if it's an RPO. I don't know if they're going to run another RPO against me, though. But, yeah, there's definitely options as we shut down that screenplay on the next play. Like I said, very good defense. It's hard to get a yard against this defense. Go ahead and move back to the middle here. Got lots of inside coverage, lots of outside coverage. Just don't hard flat or override the matching principles once again. As we're running another screen, I think, and it's just going nowhere. It's just going backwards. It's going backwards every single play, every single time. So, once again, some of the best coverages in the game are in the big nickel over G. I'm hoping to get that RPO look one more time, as we're going to not get that. I didn't think I'd have to undercut that because I thought that the safety would get that, but obviously I was wrong. But I thought the safety was at a good depth to cover that route. But you can bring these guys down a little bit to help out in that scenario, to basically try to do that a little better. But let's go and continue to get this guy outside just in case they throw the RPO at me, which they did. And he tried to jump it. I don't really know what happened there. But like I said, this is not a good RPO defense. That's the only thing. Keep the palms in your audibles for that. But everything else was pretty locked down. Next up, we have the cover 4 palms, which is specifically a RPO defense. Let's go and let's pick RPO zone alert. So this play here, all you really need to do is make sure that this guy here is out wide enough, or both of the flats really are out wide enough to take away, you know, RPOs, and then you want to pinch defensive line to take away the runs. So this is like one of the few defenses that reacts really well to RPO plays. It works similar to cover 4 quarters. So to me, this is probably the better of the two to use. because you can set this up the exact same way I set up the cover 4, where you basically just want to bring these guys down a little bit, give you a good run defense. Hard flatting, though, is the only thing you can't do with this play. If you hard flat, it'll take away the effectiveness of what these guys are doing. As you can see right there, I mean, you're only going to get a couple yards on that. Although, like I said, if I really wanted to shut that down, just move this guy out even further. Just get him out into that area, and that'll take that away. So if somebody's really cheesing you with that, you can definitely take that away too. But you don't really have to do nothing, as you can see right here. The one thing, like I said, you just got to move those flats out to the boundary so they can get around the blockers, because you saw there he got suctioned into a block. So like I said, if you want this play to work, just move these guys out as wide as you can, pinch the defensive line. It'll still be a good pass defense. It'll still be a good run defense. You just can't hard flat like you can in the other defense. And you can see how, you know, you're not getting much on those RPOs, because this is designed to stop RPOs. Next up, we have the cover 6 invert. We're going to pick that. Pick random on defense. This is a very good defense last year. All you really got to do is put this guy in the middle third, and it'll take away any one-play touchdown opportunities. You have a few issues on the outside here when it comes to the underneath the curl flat and the deep zone. So if you want to, you can put this guy on a hard flat to take that away in like a Mabel, and then you can just use the guy on the other side, or we can Mabel or hard flat one of the defensive ends the same way if you want more help over the middle as a user. But there's definitely, you know, there's definitely a good play in general. As you see right there, I don't think you got anything. But it's just a good matching style defense. You can really leave it alone, too. You don't really have to even put this guy in a deep zone. As is, this defense was really good last year. We'll go ahead and we'll run it like this. Like I said, every once in a while I want the help in the middle, so I just hard flat the defensive end to give me that help. But this is it. So basically I'm going to watch the bunch side, as everything else is pretty much locked up. You can see he's all over the running back because I left him in the middle of the field, making, you know, it very tough to gain any distance here. Hard to get a yard against this play. Like I said, I like doing the defensive end and R flat. I like to Mabel that because I really am only worried about the running back. So here we go one more time. Like I said, the running back, oh, he would have got, I mean, he didn't tackle him, but you can see how he would have stopped that for a loss if the tackling mechanics weren't so crappy in this game right now. I still feel like the tackling mechanics really aren't where it needs to be. But yeah, that's all you really got to do. Middle third, so that you take away any one-play touchdown opportunities, and a hard flat from somewhere should give you, you know, really good coverage all over the field. As you can see right there, the hard flat was all over that. It takes a 5-yard loss. So very tough to get yardage against a play like this. Pretty much every play was locked down. Next up, we have the linebacker blitz. So for this play, there's two ways to run it. You can bring this guy down over the center, whoever's on the running back, but you'll have to cover the running back. That's one of the drawbacks. If it's a run play, though, you can see, I mean, you got blitzes coming in right where the inside zone would be. So that's a benefit for the run defense. Other than that, it also helps a little bit to spread, I find. You can spread both linebackers and the defensive line by hitting the D-pad to left and right, and then up on the left stick. But like I said, you got to cover this running back. That's going to be you. And cover 0 is not really the best coverage. It's just not. It's not. It would be overpowered if it was. So that's one option. The other option is flip the play in the huddle, because you can see there's not, like, the gap between these two linemen is not as big as the gap between these two linemen. So if you have this guy on a straight look like that, you can bring this guy all the way out here to try to pull the line in his direction, and you can get a potential run right through the gap there. As you can see, he came through pretty quickly, forcing the auto check down, which is something that the defense or the quarterback will do over and over. But in my opinion, you know, this is just not cover 0 is not the way to go as far as the coverage for sure. But you can get, you know, a sack and push your opponent back to like second and long, third and long if you throw this in every once in a while. But ultimately, you know, it's just not the way to go. If you break a tackle and something similar like that, it could be a touchdown. So to me, it's a decent play to have, but I don't use cover 0s very often. Next up, we got the cover 3 match. Cover 3 match is just one of the better base defenses in the game, in my opinion, because the seams are one of the biggest concerns. But these seam flats will match if they try to burn up the seam. So that basically protects you against one of the biggest weaknesses. You can see here we get what could have been a knockout. It's really tight coverage. Matching defenses are all pretty solid for intermediate routes. It's the deep routes that are a little bit more of a concern when it comes to matching defenses. But you can see how, you know, you have what essentially looks like 3 linebackers. You can basically align this to look like a 4-3 if you want to set it up like that. And then I could use this guy here. So, you know, you have some pretty good coverage. You can hard flat if you want to, but it'll override the matching principles, as we almost got a pick there. I mean, I was kind of reading that. You have to read deep middle. You don't get a ton of pressure with this play, which is probably the biggest issue, but it's just one of the best matching coverage zones in the game, and I just wanted to point it out. Next up, we have the cover 4 quarters. So, cover 4 is the best run defense in the formation. I'm not suggesting it to run against 2 tight end packages, but this is something that you can get away with. Against something like this, we have tight ends. You want to bring these guys down outside. Make sure these safeties are down too, and make sure you're hard flagging. This will give you the best run defense in the formation. These safeties here will play like linebackers. They won't drop back immediately unless you guys pass. So if you want the extra run defense help, like right here, you can see it almost got me in trouble because they were down too far, and they kind of bit on the play action. So it's a double-edged sword. You can't just think just because they're not going to play it perfect. So there you saw that if that was like a streak, they might just run right past that. So keep that in mind. But yeah, bring these guys down, put them on outside containment to the point where they're outside of the tight ends and hard flat. And you can see how they'll do a good job cutting off the routes outside. As you can see right there, like I said, the pinch defensive line takes away the inside run lanes. I switched over under center because this is a play that you can use as your #1 run defense in this formation. Just make sure that you take these guys, the flats, and move them outside the tight ends so they can cut off outside. Put them on hard flats, and then pinch the defensive line by hitting the D-pad to the left and down to make sure there's no real inside run lanes. Although there I built in the play action. Although it really didn't matter because the pressure got through. There really wasn't a lot open. This is a pretty good coverage, zone coverage play. But like I said, I really wanted to get some run plays to show how you can use this as your primary run defense in this formation. Bringing these safeties down can be helpful too, although they can get burnt, so be careful about that. But bringing them down because, like I said, they will act like linebackers. As you can see right there, 32, the safety was right there. All cover 4s act like this if you don't guess pass, where these safeties in the middle of the field, the cornerbacks will drop back, but the safeties won't until their play rec kicks in. If it was a pass play, they would eventually drop back, but like I said, they're going to be there to stuff the run, which is why this is a very good run defense. It's almost like playing with extra linebackers. Next up out of the big nickel over G, we have the SS Blitz 3. Continue to random. Let's play here. Just pinch defensive lineman in the D-pad to the left and down on the D-pad or the left stick. Doesn't really matter. After that, this is your user right here. You're going to want to hover the center. You can bring this guy outside, especially if you're facing like an under center type of look where you could run in either direction. But on a play like this, you really can't run in that direction too often, so it's not that big a deal. But this is pretty much the play. You're just going to hover this center here. I'll hard flat, as I do quite often, because you'll see a lot of the real main weakness of cover 3 is underneath the dropping corner, so the hard flat's going to take a lot of that away. But in a look like this, like I was saying, since it's not under center, you can only really run in one direction. I'll leave that guy right there as an extra backer behind the line for run defense. But the pinch defensive line will take that away mostly. And you can see how we would have had a pick, except I'm using Trayvon Walker. It looked like the pressure came in pretty good too, which is really the goal. Like I said, on a practice mode, you might not see that, but I ran this defense a lot. You can see the cornerback come straight in. Nobody even comes close to touching him. They try to rotate the guard over, but he can't. So you can see it from this look, this guy's just going to come straight in pretty much every single time. So for this play, I think showing 2 is the closest thing to base alignment, and I like the depth of the cornerbacks. After that, you just got to pinch the defense and bring this guy down until the 3-rec hook until the green bars pop up. Pinching defense, D-pad to the left. Although there I accidentally messed up and I accidentally switch sticked as the play started, but he did a pretty good job because the 3-rec hook is pretty good. But pinch the defensive line, like I said, we'll keep continuing to show 2 because I like that alignment. Although I don't think that this guy here, I want him out here. I want him out here pretty far so that the lineman can't rotate over. And then it's your choice if you want a hard flat or leave the seam flats. The seam flats will cover the seam on the right side very well. They'll cover deep better, but hard flatting is really a good way to go. As you can see right there, you can shoot gaps too around this look for run defense. Obviously, that's going to be one of the ways to go. We'll continue to show 2. Like I said, I'm on a hard flat though. That's the thing. I like the hard flat. Go ahead and I'll press to get that cornerback down, although that's really up to you. Continue to show 2 and then press, and then you continue to drop that running back for a loss. Like I said, these pinch defensive linemen can really create space for you as a backer. So show 2. And like I said, I like the hard flat, but that's really your choice based off of the situation. Yeah, they're running on 3 straight plays, and of course I missed that run finally. I missed that tackle finally. So show 2. I like that setup. You see, I really want to manually move this cornerback down though. Get him as close to the line as I can. And we get what would have been another sack on that play. Might have been a pick, because I'm sure, I don't know where he was throwing it, but I'm going to guess he was throwing it in my direction. But once again, that cornerback is so consistent. It just gets around for pretty much, you know, instant hits every single time. He's looking downfield, but the running back, maybe he would have went to the running back. I really don't know. But you can see that's why I like the hard flat anyways, to take away those short routes. But another very quick pressure. Next up, we have the cover 9 show 2. Another good matching defense. Let's pick random. No real adjustments needed. Once again, we got matching on both sides. I'll use the 3-rec hook. You can pitch defensive line to stop run plays, but there's nothing really need to do other than that. You will have a little bit of opportunity on the underneath side of the dropping cover 4 side. So if you want to, you can put this defensive end in a hard flat, but that's it. That's all you really got to do. This defense is pretty set up by itself with the matching principles. As you can see, the hard flat defensive end took away that short route throw, and that's all you really have to do. So we got our hard flat now, only rushing 3, which is not ideal. So 3rd and long, you want to do that, and I just totally bit on the coverage there, as that running back was really the only thing that was open, and that was in my area. It was my responsibility. So I'll do it one more time. Try to redeem myself here a little bit. See, there's nothing really there. Once again, the hard flat on that side actually, or the flat on that side actually does a pretty good job of covering that. But yeah, that's it. Good matching style defense. Next up, we got cover 4 palms. This is going to be your best RPO defense. So let's pick an RPO play. No real adjustments needed other than pitching the defensive line and making sure these guys are wide so they can get around the blockers. So if your opponent's running a lot of RPOs, and then I'm just going to come down to, you know, right down the center here. It doesn't really matter because I don't expect anything except for that. So this is like the only defense that really shuts down RPOs. I don't think I even really have to make that adjustment to move them outside. I can just pitch the defensive line for stopping the run, and you can see how it's going to shut down any bubble screen, any of these looks. Really easy. The tight end gets over, or not tight, yeah, the tight end on the other side, away from the throw to that guy. As you can see, he's in the area. That's probably more important to move to the outside than the one over the bubble, because that's and you can. I didn't mean the hard flat there, but let's see what happens. As it's still, you know, once again, take away that, you know, whatever the quarter flat's on the seam flat. When you take that away, he doesn't react the same way. So like I said, we'll just bring Witherspoon down on the other side. Try to stop that. And like I said, really easy RPO setup defense. It's one of the few defenses that does that. Next up, we got the cover 6. Go ahead and continue with random. This is another matching style defense, although you have a soft squat on one side and a quarter flat on the other side, which means that it's a matching defense all around. So, you know, I like defenses like this. I'll leave the 3-rec hook alone. I'd rather use this guy. As you can see, it's still not a great defense when it comes to RPOs. There's not a lot of great defense when it comes to RPOs than palms. Here we got a, you know, matching to the, you know, you're still going to have issues when it comes to underneath. So if you want to, you can put either the defensive end here on a hard flat to try to protect underneath on a look like that, or you could, you know, put the 3-rec hook on that, because that's going to be the biggest weakness. And I don't want to override the matching principles, because if you override the matching principles, this is a much worse defense. So you don't want a hard flat to take that away. You have to add another defender, so we get the interception there. Next up, we got the cover 3 seam. We'll go and switch over to something that has some seam beaters in the trio. This play here, it's a matching cover 3, so I find that these cover 3 seams do a better job of following up the actual seam, which to me makes it a better defense than cover 3 anything else. As you see here, we had double coverage. I don't know if you caught that. if he was out of bounds or what. But yeah, this is a matching cover three. Matching cover threes are a little bit better when it comes to looks like this, where the seam might be more vulnerable. As you can see right there, they didn't get a yard. You know what I'm saying? That was the outside cornerback that made that play, which isn't typical for them to make a play at the line of scrimmage. Here's another pitch play. You know, they run the outsides. I mean, you know, if you pinch the defensive line, it's going to do a pretty good job of stopping the run. Not really a lot needed as far as adjustments. Like I said, as far as the base defense goes, I really like I like the cover three seam way more than the cover three sky because of those matching principles. Now, like I said, you can move this guy out here to try to get into the lane a little better on those three wide sets. As you can see right there, he follows the seam. He didn't quite. I mean, it's Justin Jefferson, who's the best receiver in the game, but you can see how he follows the seam. That's all I really wanted to point out. Instead of needing, you don't need to man that seam because the seam flat will cover it on its own. So I'm glad, even though you know it didn't work out, that's really just because Justin Jefferson's the better than the defender in that scenario. Get a pretty decent blitz out of the cover three seam if you flip the play in the huddle. So we got to flip the play because the gap on these two players is wider than the gap on the other side. And then we're just going to bring this guy down. We're going to blitz all linebackers with D-pad to the right and down. Bring this guy down here. We got an RPO there. Not a lot you can do about that. It's a quick decision play, but you didn't get much. But like I said, blitz all linebackers, bring this guy down. That's all you really have to do to pull these guys to the side. Then you got to drop back into coverage, obviously. Got an interception there because of the quick throw. Forces a quick throw from the computer. You can spread the defensive line too and do the same thing. And it'll still bring, you know, the guy here. It looks like they run the same play as they're trying to quick throw me, I guess. Almost got an interception though. But yeah, I mean, spreading defensive lines not the worst idea. But showing blitz is not a great idea. So let's go. Let's drop that guy back. And we'll try to pull this guy in our direction once again. And we got the free runner. I mean, that's something you can do at just about anything. As I'm put on a tackling clinic here. But yeah, you really just have to blitz all linebackers. That's all you really got to do, and then drop back after you start the play here. So we got a free runner once again. Pretty easy concept. Like I said, you're gonna get a lot of quick throws. Go to the replay, and you can see how this free runner just comes right down the pipe, forcing a quick throw. The running back can pick this up if he's blocking, but that's only if he's blocking. And he's not always going to pick it up, especially if I'm running it from the opposite side here. As you can see once again, quick, yeah, it's forcing quick decisions because it's coming in right away. So that's a positive. So once again, I didn't really stay home long enough, but we're going to get a pick. As once again, like I said, I know we're going to get quick throws because of the pressure, although I can't outrun Justin Jefferson, who's just a beast. I'll do that one more time. Like I said, just come down here over the middle. I'm going to keep hard flatting and try to cut off those short throws because I know this pressure is going to come through. It's basically the Overstorm Brave, just with better coverage behind it. Next up, we have the cover 4 quarters. Let's go pick random. It's your best run defense. You can pinch defensive line to try to close up the gaps, bring these safeties down as they will play the run pretty well, and or not guess pass, and play down or play underneath by hitting wide triangle and down the right stick. And you'll have, you know, a look like this. I think bringing these guys down to create like a 4-4 box will be best for run defense. But this is pretty much it. I mean, you know, I guess it's not really a 4-4. It's more like a 4-3, even 6-1. But yeah, this is pretty much the look here. Go ahead and get some plays. Like I said, we're going to have, you know, that should have been an interception. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, that's, you know, there's not a lot of opportunity. Bringing these guys down to the box will help out in run defense, but it will also help out in pass defense, getting them into the lanes, the throwing lanes faster. Like I said, hard flatting to cover underneath those dropping corners is important. And you can see right there, it's not the best, you know, cover 4 palms is a better RPO defense, but they did a decent job there. Cover 4 quarters is a good defense, but it's not a good RPO defense like cover 4 palms is, which I'll probably show later in the book. But if you need RPO defense, it's going to be that. And we almost got an interception there. But like I said, these cover fours are very good intermediate pass defenses, and the hard flats make a very good short pass defenses as well. Pitching the line just makes it a good run defense. But you can spread for pass defense too, and we're going to get that pick. Like I said, there's really not a lot going on. I'm covering the middle pretty much all by myself on a play like this. That's probably the one downside. But damn, 18's fast. Caught up to me like DK Metcalf. But yeah, it's pretty much the play. Not a lot to it. Like I said, good run defense. I was hoping to get a run play here and there. Like I said, the biggest issue is that the intermediate routes are all on me, over the middle especially. Especially like when you have a play like that where there's two intermediate routes. You can't choose them both. So in a scenario like that, you probably want to sacrifice one of your defensive ends. I'm glad that actually happened because it gave me an opportunity to show me the adjustment for that, which would be something like this. Now he would take it. I mean, he's not going to necessarily run the same play, but he would take the one while I can take the other. And I haven't covered that zig all day, but that's going to be your adjustment if somebody's putting a little bit too much. You know, they're putting too much strain over the middle. You know, you could just put a little vert hook there on one side and then cover the other side a little bit better. You can see right there, you know, that's just a bunch of short routes. Not a lot you can do there. But like I said, intermediate, I would say would be the weakness because you're all by yourself. And even if you make adjustments, you know, you could still get beat with a lot of like check down small short routes like comebacks and curls. Next up, out of the nickel over, we have the Overstorm Brave. For this play, just user whoever's on the running back. You have to cover them, but user and bring them over the center, and it'll help to get one of the other routes open. And then when the play starts, you can drop back over the middle, and you know, cover the deep middle routes, and you'll have, you know, an opportunity for a big play. But if the running back goes out in a pattern, there he blocked. If he goes out in a pattern, you're gonna have to follow him. Just going to do this one more time. I'm just here to make sure that we get a run play. It'll be a pretty decent run defense because obviously you're running right into the blitz. As you can see, what happens there, the you know, the linebackers get through the gaps. There, he's blocking once again, so I can drop back into coverage, and nothing gets open as we get another sack. So here, you know, I'm just got to make sure whoever is covering the running back. So right here, bring him down. Running back goes down to pattern, you got to be on that. You got to be joining on the spot. That was actually an RPO. Not a good RPO defense. I went over good RPO defenses in this playbook. That's not one of them. I don't know why that switched, by the way, but we'll go ahead and switch back. Like I said, just bring him over to the center. Got a flag. I don't know what's going to happen there. Like I said, just got to cover this dude. And like I said, coverage there is not a great defense in general as far as coverage is concerned. So, you know, that's the risk-reward factor here. So if you want to run this defense, just make sure you don't spam it, because it's not too difficult to beat. There you can see we had I think the running back's blocking, but it still gets through. So like I said, you will get sacks, so you can run this from time to time. Push your quarterback or push your opponent back to, like, you know, second, third longs, and it will be helpful. But it's also very risky considering that tackling is a little bit off right now. Even if you get, you know, even if it's something like what we just saw, could easily, you could break a tackle, be gone. But it's still a pretty solid defense. You can see it's also stopping a lot of inside runs. Still a solid defense to run against these type of shotgun packages from time to time. Next up, we got the cover 3 seam. All I'm going to do here, spread this guy out a little bit, hit the D-pad to the right and down on the right stick to blitz all linebackers. And this is what I really got to do. Hover this gap here so this bar pops up above my head. And you can see how you get an A gap from the other linebacker. Now, I'll go to the replay because the quarterback's going to get rid of the ball pretty quickly in this practice mode. But you can see how this sets up to the point where you get a double team on the nose. And this guy just runs straight through. If I had a faster linebacker, it'd probably be a sack. But that's all there is to it. So let's go do that again. Like I said, D-pad to the right and down. Although I didn't even do that right. Like I said, move Witherspoon out a little bit. Move your stick down a little bit. I'd say hard flatting is probably a good call too for cover 3. And you can guess pass just in case it's a play action. But yeah, you can see how it's pretty consistent. I mean, he's just running right through, even though, like I said, the computer is getting the ball away. Also helps just to hesitate in this gap, and then you see how there we actually got down We almost touched the quarterback before he got to the flat route. So, like I said, I don't expect, aside from plugging in a second controller and manually allowing this to take the sack, but you can't ask for much faster pressure than that. I mean, it's an A gap right up the middle. We're only blitzing 5 on. It's a 5-on-5, and we get a free rusher right up the A or the B gap, whatever you want to call that, for what would essentially be an instant sack. So one of the better blitzing concepts in the game. Next up, we have the FS Zone Blitz. Go ahead, we'll just pick a play, Jet Pull Shadow. So for this play here, spread the defensive line behind the D-pad to the left and up on the left stick. Then bring this safety down to the box and bring this guy here behind the nose. Now, that's all you really have to do. After that, your choice of using either this guy here, based off of what offense you're looking at. Like, I would move the 3-rec hook away from the bunch. But I'm going to use this guy, which means that his responsibility is my responsibility. And that's all you really got to do. Just a lot there. He broke the sack, and then we get the knockout. But you can see how you still get pressure up the A gap, even though he didn't quite make the tackle. But like I said, you can see the linebacker loops in, didn't get picked up by the running back. Like I say, he didn't make the tackle for whatever reason, which kind of messed up the play. But you can see we still get the knockout. We still got good coverage on the backside. So I'm actually glad it happened that way. So I'll do it again. Spreading. So he's got to bring this safety down. Bring this guy behind. I'll bring the other safety down too, just to make it look, not so obvious that it's a blitz. Typically you want to do that. And then just bring this guy out here around the tackle. And you can see how he can loop in. Sometimes, like I said, the running back can pick him up. But the quarterback's running for his life is the bottom line as we get back-to-back sacks. Well, at least I'll call it that. So one more time. Like I said, bring this guy here. You can bring the safeties, you don't have to bring the safety all the way down. I find it's better to bring him down a little bit closer, though. But we'll go ahead and run it like this just to see. As you can see, we get that loop again. And he hits the quarterback again, even though the running back did get a piece of him. But I wanted to show it that way because you don't necessarily, if you bring it all the way down here, it might be a bit of a tell, if you don't have the safeties matching. So it's like you can have these safeties at like a decent depth where it's not necessarily a dead giveaway that you're coming in on the blitz. And then spread that defensive line one more time. But like I said, this setup here, a lot of times you'll get that looping linebacker. Although there it didn't really work. But like I said, you got good coverage on the backside too. Because this is a matching cover 3. Matching cover 3 is probably one of my favorite defenses. So I'll bring the safety down. Like I said, we can bring them both down just so it's not so obvious. And we're good to go here. Not the longest setup. As you can see, it loops around again. And that time we get another knockout. So, we're having success all over the field here. Good pressure, good coverage, very good defense. Was last year as well. Looks like we got the 0 blitz. Keep going random. So, not really a lot to this setup here. I'm just going to spread the defensive line and linebackers by D-pad to the left and up on the left stick, D-pad to the right, up on the left stick, stuff like that. Cover 0 still is one of the worst coverages, so you got to be sparing with this. Some people use this too much. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I like this play because the running back's actually covered, unlike the spinner, which to me is a little bit too much. But you can see you don't even really have to spread. I mean, I really just brought this guy down to try to get the edge defender off, but the computer's just going to auto check down, and we're never going to see much from the heat. But if I just bring this guy down before dropping back, that outside cornerback is pretty much going to sprint right in as he did there. But like I said, the coverage is not very good, so you got to be aware of that. But if you like running cover 0, this is going to be one of the better ones. You can see here how this guy here, he just comes in off the edge untouched based on the fact that I just dropped down on the guard. So it's, it's a good edge blitz, but there's better ones that have better coverage. So, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring this guy in closer. If I really want to get that blitz in, I'm going to bring that guy in a lot closer and just hover the outside here, pinching the defensive line. That'll give that guy a better opportunity. As you can see there, we actually get a throw out of sack animation because you need to close the space there. The linebacker actually came in on that play, which is something that can also happen. As you can see, you can't quite get over, and that's due to the pinch. So that's also another set. You're just pinching defensive line, being D-pad to left and down. Like I said, bring this guy in here to get him close. Although if he gets too close, he'll back away a little bit, as you can see. And then, like I said, just start this guy out over here before dropping back into coverage, just to draw some attention. You can see we're getting some pretty consistent A-gaps as the guy that wasn't even covering gets the interception there. But that's the thing about sending relentless pressure. Turnovers will happen. Things will happen. Ridiculous stuff happens. So we're going to do that again. Like I said, pinch defensive line. Bring this guy in. and then just bring this guy down over, over the tackle here. And like I said, you can get some A-gap pressure. You can get, you're going to get quick throws. You're going to get errant balls. You're going to get stuff like that. That's really one of the pluses about running your defense like this. I don't even have to go outside. I can just come right here over, just so the bars pop up by it. That's what I really got to do. And I keep covering the running back, even though it didn't do anything, but he did drop the ball, So, like I said, this is a decent pressure-heavy defense that a lot of people will have trouble with. So you can do this. I'll go ahead and I'll just continue out here. Hopefully they'll get that A-gap pressure one more time. As you can see, there's definitely opportunities, for good things to happen, sacks, interceptions, stuff like that. Next up, we got the cover 6. Continue to pick random. It's another play. I mean, it's mostly a matching defense, although there are some principles that are, like the coverage side. It's another play where I just want to set up my run fits by basically just, creating that 3-4 look one more time. You got to be aware that this is the mid read, so I'm going to leave that alone. If you have a bunch look like this, you can just leave it alone. But this is, like I said, you want to set this up if you're expecting that your opponent might pass. And you can see it's just, it's good coverage. Like I said, I don't really feel like it's necessary to move all these guys because it's a line in front of the bunch for a reason. So I can leave that alone. But like I said, if they're under center, just bring all these guys in to a point where you're giving yourself the best run defense possible, and maybe even bring these guys down to the box a little bit more so they can get into the throwing lanes a little bit quicker. But this is a pretty good design defense. A lot of people struggle with stuff like this, matching style defenses. Where there's just, a very unique look. As you can see there, the zig did get open. I mean, this is, like I said, there's some matching principles here. So a lot of time, like zig routes, can beat this similar to matching style defenses, or to man defenses, because that's kind of how matching defenses operate a little bit. And in a look like this, you don't necessarily want to do that because it's a shotgun look. You have a bunch. Just leave all those guys over there to cover. If you want to have better run defense, just shift the defensive line in the direction of a potential run play, and that will take up a lot of that. As you can see here, we get a lot of short throws, and the cloud flat in that area does a pretty good job of stopping that. We'll do this a few more times, as this defense does have, does a pretty good job of taking care of deep throws. You see right there, like I said, I just shifted in that direction. We get to stop very easily. Next up, we have the cover 3 cloud show 2. It's another unique pass defense that a lot of people might struggle with because it's not like a straight cover 2 or cover 3. On a play like this, since I have the bunch over there, I actually think it's better just to leave those guys alone and operate on the weak side, and then help out as I feel as needed. But you can see here, going to be a pretty decent defense against RPOs. Because of the hard flat, although it's not actually in a hard flat, so it's really up to me if I want a hard flat, which I think would be best. So we'll go ahead and play underneath, and then a hard flat on both sides. And then, like I said, I mean, for run defense, I can pitch defensive line, or more realistically, just spread it in that direction. So if it's an attempt at an outside run, we have containment there. As you can see, it's still, if we could tackle, which isn't really something that's in the game very well right now, but tackling, it can be a pretty good run stopping defense just by spreading in that direction. And then, like I said, if I expect an RPO, just hard flat. But hard flatting is going to be good for these coverage shells anyway. As you can see, there's just not really a lot of coverage here as he throws an interception to Clark, because I have so many mid-zone reads there, so many mid-zone hook zones and stuff like that in that area. So just a really good defense. Nothing really too crazy, although there I didn't even get the setup, and they took the play off. And boom, he's thrown another interception. So like I said, this is just a very good coverage. A lot of good coverage options in this play because we have so many DBs on the field. As we've probably gotten the most interceptions out of this formation out of any one that we've been using. If you want to, you could use this guy here as like an extra defender and man him to whoever you want, Justin Jefferson, whatever. That's definitely an option. But I find the play set up very well as is. That looked like it was a screenplay. Didn't get out. I wasn't really paying attention. Like I said, the only real adjustment I would make is run fits. Make my run defense adjustments. That's about all I would make with this play. It's really well designed as is. You can see right there the cloud flat does a really good job of helping out with RPOs as is. If you really want to, you can use this guy as like an extra defender and man somebody, because you have a lot of mid zones, a lot of hook zones on the field. So that could be used as an extra. But I find that the design of this is actually really good. I wouldn't really change too much. Except we have the cover 3 lock. I'm going to pick that. Go random on defense. It's another play where you have an extra defender here that's manned to the slot receiver, but I would man him to whoever the best receiver is in the bunch, or whoever is most likely to be the RPO receiver. So that would be, in this scenario, that would be Justin Jefferson. And then I would still try to create that box look, that 5-2, 4-3, whatever you want to call it, look that I'm trying to create here. And then hard flat. Hard flatting obviously is still very important. So you have that extra defender now. I can really just worry about crossing routes once again. Although the seam's still an issue, that's what it's going to be when it comes to cover 3. Cover 3 is going to have issues up the seam, and it could also have issues outside. So that's something that can't really change too much there about that. But it is what it is. It's still a good defense. It's still something good to mix in every once in a while to confuse your opponent, because it's not a traditional cover 3. I mean, you just have that extra defender accounted for, really. As you can see here, we have crossing routes. We tries to throw that. I don't know what happened there. The man defender was in the area, but that whole play just looked like it kind of glitched out or something. I'm not really sure what happened. But like I said, I like having that extra defender because that's just a good way to double team a dominant player on the field. Let's see if we get any run plays or anything like that. Like I said, I'm just crossing, taking away these crossers. I don't know why I didn't catch it, but you can see how the computer even is making a mistake of throwing it into coverage. I'll do that one more time. So you can really just man that guy to whoever you want, but I find the superstar receiver on the field or the RPO receiver on the field makes the most sense, as they just keep throwing to me. I guess he just wanted to give me an interception, but that just shows you that nothing's really open when the computer keeps making the same mistake. Next up, we have the cover 4 drop contain. So for this play, the ideal setup is bringing these safeties down and also bringing these cornerbacks in, so that this kind of looks like a 3-4 defense, or even like a 5-2. Which is pretty much the look you're going to want. Pinching the defensive line will stop inside runs. Hard flatting will be best to stop most pass plays. And then you really just have to, because the hard flats are going to cover underneath where the cornerbacks drop back. You can see the hard flat does a pretty good job of stopping the run as well. But the hard flats and the safeties will play down at a better pace than anything else. So basically just bring these guys in. Like I said, that's not a critical of importance against a shotgun to get this cornerback down into alignment, but against like an under center look, it will be. And this is pretty much it. I just have to cover the wide side here where all the receivers are crossing. Although right there, didn't do a very good job, because I keep worrying about that zig route popping up rather than just trusting what my eyes see. But yeah, bringing these safeties down, like I said, in the shotgun, you're not really going to have to worry about this backside cornerback too much. But for the video, I'm going to keep that like it is. And then this is the look right here. Like I said, a very hard box to run on there, though. Cover 4, the cornerbacks drop back, so you're going to have issues against RPOs like that. That'd be a scenario we'd want to most likely man the RPO receiver, although in this scenario it would be the A receiver. But you can do stuff like that as well. So let's go and let's do that one more time. Like I said, hard flat, this would be the look. Nice packed box. Even though we don't have a ton of size, we're going to have success stopping the run. And we get that, underneath route, the hard flats all over that. We just took them for a 5-yard loss because those hard flats are pretty critical. And they play back pretty well, too. The hard flats don't just stay low. If there's nothing low drawing them, they will play back. So this is the look right here. Nice tight packed box. Not a lot of options. Got a run play outside. The safeties converge. Only give up a couple yards, even though I over pursued outside. So very good run defense, very good pass defense, very good base defense. Next up, we got the spinner. Good old-fashioned spinner. We'll go random. This is just an overload blitz. I don't really find that it matters too much how you set this up. But yeah, I mean, you're basically just sending house. I think spreading with the D-pad to the left and up, and then D-pad to the right and up on the left stick is probably best, because that will essentially, give you an attempt at an A-gap pressure, then coming here and just dropping back. But you can see like the pressure is just there, coming off the edge. I mean, you're sending more than most defenses or most offenses are sending for blockers. So you don't really even have to do that. I mean, you can really just run it as is. And if you bring these cornerbacks down, it will give them a quicker path. I think that, doing that, bringing them down and spreading the defensive line is probably best than hovering this particular side with this blitzing. So I'm just going to spread the defensive line and bring these cornerbacks down close. This will give you several opportunities for either the cornerbacks to get in or the an A gap from the blitzing linebacker on the other side. But the running back's my responsibility if he goes down on a route. So keep that in mind. As you can see, they're probably going to be auto check downing because the computer's not going to. It's not going to be hard for the computer to figure out that you know, the pressure's coming. But this is one of those type plays you really don't have to make any adjustments. You're sending more blitzers than they have blockers anyway. But this is probably the better setup to try to get the cornerbacks in outside or the A gap pressure over the middle. And then, like I said, they're just going to auto check down. So it's not like I'm expecting much because, you know, the computer's pretty smart. They get the ball out pretty quick. You can, you know, just spread the defensive line, though, and try to get that pressure in through the middle or the outside cornerback. You can see, you know, it's just going to be the same result over and over. Next up, we have the overload seam 3. This is one of the better blitzes. Just spread the defensive line and the linebackers by hitting D-pad to the left and right and then up on the left stick. Just come out here to this point here where you're going to spread the defense or spread the offensive line as much as possible for dropping back. And you can see... this is one of the more consistent A-gap pressures. All you got to do is spread the defense by spreading the defensive line and the linebackers behind the D-pad to the left and right and then up on the left stick. And that's pretty much all you got to do other than hover the gap here to the point where your bars drop up over your head. And you can see how the quarterback has to get the ball out pretty quick. I got to spend a little bit more time paying attention to the coverage side of things. So we'll go and do that again. Like I said, just hesitate over here, cut off these lanes, and boom, you got that A gap or B gap right at the center from the blitzing safety. So just make sure that you put your fastest potential guy here. But you can see how this guy here really just spreads the line. I mean, for whatever reason, they double team in the nose, and the running back doesn't even see him. He just runs right through for what should have been a sack. But it's very consistent. Cover 3 is also very good coverage. It's a matching cover 3. If you want a hard flat, you can. Just like I said, just spread this offensive line as much as possible. Stay over in this area here, and you can see how you know, I'm just, you know, dropping back into coverage over the middle very easily. Very consistent blitz. Going to do this one more time. Like I said, I don't want to get too close to that side. Kind of want to hover over the right tackle. You can see that the A gap there. That time it wasn't the pressure was from, it looks like, the nose, but it was still, you still got some pretty consistent pressures. They actually rotated this time, but they still kind of let the nose just go in free because they didn't maintain that double team. And even the blitzing cornerback was kind of getting through that, or the blitzing safety rather was getting through that. So very good pressure. It comes from a lot of different areas. You don't have to send the blitz, too. You could always zone all linebackers if you think your opponent's picking up on this, which is always your call. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep sending the blitz for the purpose of this video because, you know, there are going to be, like, scenarios here like, well, once again, I'm pretty sure the running back was blocking there. We get another very easy sack. Let's go ahead and let's watch that again. Running back just doesn't recognize the A-gap. I mean, this is just, even the center got off, but he doesn't pick him up. He doesn't get hands on him, as this is just a very good blitz. Next up, we have the Tampa 2 drop. Let's go and let's pick that. Keep going random. Tampa 2 is just a really good play. You have your mid-read here. You got your 3-rec hook. Once again, creating a run defense out of this would be just pinching and bringing these guys down, and now you have what looks like a 5-2. Which, you know, for me is just solid. You can bring these safeties down a little bit too. Cover 2 is a very good play. Just make sure you're not on the mid-read. I'd really rather use one of these hook curls because the 3-rec hook's one of the better ways to go too. Although there, I undercut the crossing route and left the other route go. That's more on me than anybody else. On a play like this too, since it's a shotgun, you don't really have to worry about getting this alignment set up. But yeah, this is pretty much it right here. If it's like if they're under center, you can set up like this. And you can see how, you know, we could get all over that. We got an interception from the computer this time because you have so many zones. The 3-rec hook is very good at following receivers across. So like I said, if I really, you know, bringing these guys just in alignment is really all you have to do here. And then I'm going to use whoever's on the side with the most action, as this is going to be, you know, where the play is going to go. And that's on me. I keep letting that up because I'm so preoccupied with the crosser. But in this particular setup, it's really something I should be staying outside. Gonna do that one more time. Like I said, I'm not giving up anything out here. The cloud flat does a good job of taking away those short routes, even though he didn't get the tackle. He would have really got nothing if that was the case. But yeah, this is pretty much it. You just want to bring everybody down. You just want to condense this. Still waiting on a run play. As you know, there's just short stuff. I mean, there's nothing really getting open here. It's a very good, you know, just a vanilla defense. Next up, we got the dollar. Starting off with the DB Fire 2. Just bring these cornerbacks down. You can bring them in nice and tight if you want to. I find it's best to just make sure that you have a mid-read from the other guy here. Put him in a middle read or even a deep third, and that'll be your best option. But ultimately, I'm going to have to get back to this receiver side. You can see the cornerback blitzing is still going to do a pretty good job for run containment. Go ahead and let's do this. Again, you could press, you know what I mean? You could pinch, like all these things really don't matter. It's all going to work out pretty much the same. I didn't do the mid-read there, but that's fine. As you can see, I got over on the bunch, but I didn't quite commit. Quick throws are still going to be important for this particular defense. But like I said, mid-read is probably the most important thing. After that, you can bring the safeties down to get them a little bit more involved because I find they're just a little bit too far back. But you don't have to pinch the defensive line. You don't have to spread them. You don't have to do any of those things. You can. Especially for run defense, that's going to be helpful. And you can see how cover 2 is probably the best defense when it comes to RPOs. As there, it would have worked out great. I just didn't get the tackle. So, I mean, that's Justin Jefferson for you. He's going to break tackles. It is what it is. But, yeah, so this is pretty much the play right here. Like I said, pinch the defensive line will help out with run defense, but it's not necessary. As you can see right here, we don't have, you know, we do a pretty decent job of inside run defense, although cover 2 is going to be the weakest because safeties don't necessarily drop down like they do in cover 4. Let's do this one more time. I'm hoping that we can get a look where the quarterback holds onto the ball a little bit. But that's not really, you know, the look here as we get a sack there or throw out a sack animation. That was probably the fastest that he held the ball. But this is also one of the best blitzes it is year after year. As you can see, the cornerback comes off the edge. Running back's blocking, but he can't rotate over to pick it up as he just gets planted. As the DB Fire 2 has been one of the best, you know, blitzes in the game for a very long time. But I would say pinching the defensive line is probably the best way to go. Middle reads, one of the priorities. Bringing the safeties down would be a smaller priority. But, you know, hovering one of these gaps would be the most important. As you can see, that cornerback just came in untouched. And I don't think the running back blocked. But that doesn't necessarily matter. So let's go to the replay one more time. You can see, you know, nobody touches this guy. He just runs right past the left tackle for what should have been a sack.